I should be able to see me in there. Red, orange, and yellow guy. I normally joke that I'm the hottest thing in the frame, but it's not going to work out with these two big guys looking at me right now. So we are looking for cold spots. I want them to be blue or black. Obviously, that's the color that's going to be colder than the red, orange, and yellow. That's why I point out that I'm the red, orange, and yellow guy. I want them to move or to take shape. When I say take shape, head, shoulders, moving arms and legs. That's what we've caught with this guy in the past. That's hopefully what we're going to capture with it again. That's the beauty of this camera. I love to give you these stats of my equipment too, so you guys know what to expect. I capture 4 to 5 pieces on this guy per year that I would put my stamp of approval on, not per episode. Hence Zach Bacon's. So he likes to throw a lot of stuff out there. But again, stamp of approval. If we're not recording, we're not going to find it. That's the beauty of this camera. We are going to swap cameras halfway through the nights, just based off of what the next location will do right in the middle of our tour. So there's also a time that we're here. You don't want to hit that start when you think you see something, because by that time it's already gone. So just get the footage and we'll kind of sift through it. This place, by the way, about the communication ladies, this is where I start withholding information on purpose. I will not be giving you questions here like what color was George Washington's white horse, like what we did with the big red barn. You're going to get the answers from your spirit boxes. That's how this is going to go. But this place used to be the Eliza and Charles Pinckney Mansion. So their mansion sat in the front of the space, facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant and came all the way across. And we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. So that's the layout of the land. So who the hell were these people? Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles, and they had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 Chucks, in case nobody was paying attention. That's why we look for secondary clues. If you hear Charles, I'm hoping she's going to get the clue of which Charles it is, so we know how to address him. You guys see the point now? Yeah. The son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. Big deal for us, but I hate politics more than all of you combined, including Miss Milo over here, because she knows all about politics, don't you know? She's like, why do you keep picking on me, dude? Well, you're the shortest person here. That's why. But anyway, so if I don't give the gentleman that recognition, by the way, about signing the Constitution, they will do it for me in a nasty manner through a spirit box. So I just make sure I do it every single night, give them the recognition, and we move on. We're going to be discussing Eliza. Eliza marries Charles at a young age according to today's standards. If you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, don't expect numbers from the colonial days that she came from, when young ladies got married at 12 and 14. Your age. Yeah, that's when girls got married. Think of today's standards, because the husband was over double her age. It's kind of a creepy age gap. I'm just going to put that out there for you. I'm going to give you a little subtle clues from time to time. Anyway, she married him because her father was over in England. He thinks he's dying. He's trying to bring all his children home one last time so he could see them. Eliza didn't believe he was dying, so she stayed put right here, got married. It's 1744. You don't get married in that year to earn a green card, because there's no such thing. We're not a country yet. This is a true love story, everybody. If anything, this is a place of respect. Nothing horrific has happened here. It's just haunted as hell. Let's keep going. Eliza was correct. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to where you're standing. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. That's a plant that makes blue dye. It makes your blue jeans blue. That's how we use it. Nobody's wearing it tonight. Look at that. Normally I have at least one example. But anyway, when she got her seeds, no idea what to do with them. She had to learn from her servants and slaves how to keep it going. It's not always hot here. Then she had to learn how to make the dye, move it to a cash crop, got a hold of Dad, and told him that the rice plantations were going downhill. They were going to make a killing with this indigo. She was right. They did. Now we have an international businesswoman during colonial times. Something absolutely unheard of. Now that's the boring business stuff of Eliza. Let's get into the weird stuff, because that's why we're all here. So what's going to happen is we're basically going to spread out. We're just going to stay away from the handful of vehicles that we do have in here, and I'll do round robins with everybody, probably 3, maybe 4, just depending on what's actually going on. I'm going to give you guys focus questions. So these are things you can say out loud, or you can just focus on them. Keep in mind, we also have a video camera running plus my audio recorder and another spirit box. So if you're asking questions, your answers can go to any one of our 3 devices. You're basically here as a safety director at this point, because we're going to talk about those EMF when you start seeing numbers. Have you seen any yet?
8.6.
8.6. We're going to keep it going. That's your new baseline. Don't give me anything below an 8.6, because I do write all these down. So we're going to start off with yours, Christy. You're going to focus on Eliza's death. So her 4 major questions that we get answers to: how old you were when you died, what did you die from, where are you buried, what president was a pallbearer at your funeral. If you ask anything rogue, meaning your own questions, just kind of 3 rules of thumb. No yes, no questions. Be respectful. Don't ask about the kids. Very simple. We're going to poke the bear if you ask about the kids. So again, you can ask anything else you want to, but stay away from those 3 categories. Milo, we're going to keep yours nice and simple, because that spirit box only gives me like 1 to 2 syllables at a time. The mansion's not here. Can you see a big giant house at the front of this place? I can't. Anyway, you're going to ask what happened to the mansion. If you get the what, or anybody else does, we'll often get 2 or 3 numbers from the exact date of when that tragedy occurred. So I'm kind of giving you guys a clue. It was a tragedy. So kind of keep that in mind. So yeah, we're going to basically spread out. I'm going to give you guys like a minute or two. Just be mindful of people walking through this lot because it does happen often with that camera. And then I'll kind of do round robins. I'll let everybody know what's going on. That was an 8-6, by the way. Got it perfect. So yeah, just keep them growing up and we'll see what we can get. So Milo, this gets you unmuted so you can start listening in. And let's spread out. Explore the space, everybody. Did you figure it out? Yeah, sometimes it takes a second to warm up. There we go. And here it's starting to come through. Wow, what did we do? Now it's starting to warm up. Perfect. Alright, so stay close to Dad, because remember, if you miss something, it'll be on your guys' audio.
Should we just walk about?
Yeah, just nice and slow.
Door, maybe.
What happened to your mansion?
Walk. Walk this way. Slowly. Remember, the answers might go to one of them.
What happened to your mansion?
The answers might go to one of them, remember. Walk over here. Yeah.
What do we hear? Talk to me.
So I've heard the word white, gold, right?
Yeah.
Let's move away from this car.
Yeah. And then some other stuff we couldn't really make out.
I kind of feel like I kind of heard like
Fetterman? Fetterman?
Fentanyl, like the drug.
Oh.
Yeah. Because I feel like I heard that.
Yeah, that's probably not a thing from the 1700s. We're probably gonna skip that one out. But
Okay.
I can see where she's going. At least she heard it and like recognized it. Like,
Yeah.
like that's crazy. Especially look at today's times, right? I didn't know what the hell fentanyl was when I was 12 years old,
Yeah.
14 years old. But you're on the right track. So you're hearing words, you're getting things
Yeah.
out of it. So nothing is coinciding with what Christy heard so far. She has a whole different thing going on. But you're on the right track. The words white and gold, I don't know what that means yet. So again, when you hear, and it's normally nouns and numbers, so that are usually the biggest
Okay.
thing. So you guys have given me white, gold, and those are descriptions too, but they could be just, descriptors of something very specific.
Okay.
That was something, I just didn't make it out.
Yeah,
So, like,
it's hard
he's
to make out
calling down.
sometimes.
Okay. So yeah, you're on the right track. Did you guys ask any questions?
Yeah, we've asked 2 questions. What
Yeah.
happened to the mansion?
Okay.
And then the other one was, what color was the mansion?
Oh, and you got white and gold? I can't prove it because the only pictures are black and white,
Yeah, yeah.
unfortunately. What's funny is we normally get the answer of yellow when people ask that question. I don't know
Well,
why.
gold is a tone of yellow, right?
It is.
Somewhat.
Interesting. Keep listening. I'll kind of give you guys another, couple of minutes. We'll kind of see what's going on here. But Christy's on to something, so we're going to see if anything picks up after her.
So should we stay away from her then?
Yeah, because she's listening to her own. So
Okay.
we'll just see wherever
So we'll
Eliza
just stay in
wants
this
to talk.
perimeter then.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well,
Walk back and forward.
How many doors in the mansion?
How many doors are in the mansion? What is it? I feel like I heard the number 24. I heard 435. Maybe when I heard it falling down. When I heard falling down, I think it was the earthquake.
But remember, some of the answers might go to them, baby.
Yeah. This person. Ashley. Wait, can I ask? Wait. Let's ask me a question.
Let him come. Come over here. How many slaves lived with the family?
How many slaves, servants were here?
Stay close. Come.
I
78?
heard like 29. 9. I even heard like
Heard anything?
I heard teenagers, John.
I love Mondays. I just want to put that out there.
Say what?
I love Mondays. It's like I have
Oh,
the
'cause
whole
no one's
city.
here. Perfect.
Like I have the whole city to myself, even in the dead of summer. It's wonderful. So yeah, keep that thing running. I'm going to stay out of your way so you can just get, view of one way or the other. If other people are coming through here, whether it's tours or tourists, just point it to the ground. We all get the point. Obviously, you've seen a bunch of numbers along the way. You're looking for an 8 because the lampposts are above. The lampposts normally give us off to a 7, so obviously I go straight to an 8. Just let me have to go above that number. Is that what you just had? How close to the corner? As soon as we came in, still on the sidewalks? Yeah, it's probably.
It was on the
I was on the brick? Oh, I think it's one.
I
I don't think I've ever seen it go that high here. The highest they only have is like 12 or 14. It's 23. This used to be called Jeweler's Alley. So, two of you already know this story. You guys haven't been down here yet,
No.
right? Alright, perfect. Alright, I'm going to cater to them. I'm sure you guys are good with that. But there's a few extra pieces of history here that they probably didn't tell you, which is, I'm going to go through that too. This is where they actually had some of the duels. It's called Philadelphia Alley now. But dueling was illegal, and they had to change the name. So they changed it after a city that actually helped us out of one of our many, many fires, Philadelphia. That's why it's called Philadelphia Alley now. But anyway, we all tell the same damn story down here. All 338 ghost tours tell this story. I was actually going to take this out of my route because every ghost story comes down here, and some people have already heard the tale. However, this is the guy that follows me around. So, very interesting piece. Yeah. You have to remember that this guy's story's been told for the past 50 years or so. I'm the only one that can actually communicate back because I have all the communication devices. And everywhere we go from here moving forward is we will be near a place of raised emotion for him. So it's a rarity that I'll find him over by the Thinking Mansion, but it's happened before. So it's kind of interesting. So let's kind of get into this. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. If the song Brown Eyed Girl shows up while we're here, not coincidence, we get it all the time. Part of his name.
The word, or the color yellow showed up
Here?
when we were walking.
Yeah, that's a thing here too. I'll explain.
Okay.
When I get to that part. I don't want to kind of throw that one out there. But anyway, Dr. Ladd moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a lot of money from her dead parents, and she has an attorney helping her out with all of the money she just got. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money, so he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. He comes down here to Charleston to prove that he's not after her money. On his way in, he had a coachman that set him up to be robbed and killed. It's like having a really bad Uber driver today. So I just like to explain that when we have younger people. That's not the point. Anyway, somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen because he knew the coachman. Somebody walking by, his name is Ralph Isaacs. Those initials sound familiar to you guys at all based on anything I've said here?
Rhode Island.
Exactly. So, I was getting the letters RI all the time on the red spirit box that you're using. I have another device. It's like a little digital Ouija board. I wanted the actual letters, and we've had it about 7 or 8 times in the past year that I've had it. Only when I bring up Ralph's name, though. Back to Ralph. He tells the doctor, dude, I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. I got friends at 59 Church Street. A giant yellow house with green shutters, just so you know. And you can rent a room from them, and you'll be safe and good to go. Doc took him up on the offer. 2 gentlemen became friends. The longer the doctor stays here in Charleston, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he's just after Amanda's money. I can hold it if you need to put your hair up. Or Dad, doesn't matter to me.
I can hold it.
So Amanda gets wind of this and she's moving down so they could be married, and Dr. Ladd then became known as the Whistling Doctor. This is the reason I was going to take this story out of my route, because it's a giant cliche. I hate cliches. Every haunted city you're ever going to visit is going to have a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. This one just happens to be a doctor. So, let's talk about why we're in Dueler's Alley. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. He gets better seats than Ralph. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. So, they go see Richard III one night, and on their way home, they're arguing over the new actress that they just saw that was new in town. Doc thought she was great, Ralph didn't. The argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiance. Back home in Rhode Island, it went really ugly, and they went their separate ways. Ralph then went to his friends at the newspaper and placed an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thought of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of BS. Doc saw the ad, rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. We're going to settle this. Keep in mind, the argument started over an actress. I just like to point that out because things were dumb back then. Anyway, the two gents came down here back to back. They took their 10 paces. They turned. Doc points his gun in the air and shoots. Did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and be admirable, like you said. I don't think I've ever used that word when describing him, but that makes perfect sense. But Ralph has his one bullet, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Doc didn't die. Ralph just proved his point. He's still pissed off. He's not willing to forgive the doctor. So Doc fell to the ground. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he died 10 days later, November 2nd of 1786, after refusing medical treatment. Two things about that last statement. It's 1786. Gunshot wounds are a lot different back then than they are now. Am I correct? Yeah, absolutely. But he also is a doctor. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself, but obviously he failed because he died. Every ghost story tells you to listen for the whistles. We have a video camera running, plus my voice recorder. If we're going to capture a disembodied whistle, more than likely going to come from one of these two different devices. Holy cow, something's close. Tree's hiding me this time, guys. No worries. Alright, I'm always like ducking in for cover. Like I'm always getting in trouble. So, if you're going to try this on your own and walk all the way through here and try to capture the whistles from the ghost, just remember that every local knows the story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street, we all throw a whistle down this alley, me included. So, here's the reason why I can't take you all the way down. This place used to hold the livestock for the city of Charleston. It was once called Cow Alley before it was Dueler's Alley. So there was a wall halfway between us and Cumberland. So what does that mean? The bricks down on the other side are older than the ones we're standing on. Those bricks down there are sun-dried bricks from slave children. Full handprint from a slave child down there, fingerprint swipes and others. I used to take my groups all the way through for a history lesson. There's nothing paranormal about that damn brick. You guys already know how I feel about cemeteries. That's the last place you're going to find that gig. So, November 26th of 2020, I took my entire group down there and just for their history lesson. We're going to be very quick and move on. They all stop and they huddle around that brick waiting for something to happen. I know nothing's going to happen. I'm also trying to hurry them along because we're outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm trying to be respectful, not realizing I was out of bounds for tours. I was still new at this. When the new owner came out, he was screaming his head off, and my daughter thought it was hysterical. She was on the tour that night. She thought it was great that her father was getting yelled at. Anyway, we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving because I worked in upper management for Walmart before I started doing this, and you guys fight over towels on Thanksgiving. You scarred me for life. I will never work another Thanksgiving forever. The next day, I called my partner that brought me into tourism. I told him what happened, trying to figure out what to do next because I'm like panicking because the rest of my tour is all that way. He laughed at me like my daughter did and said, dude, you're going to have to reroute. That's residential. Tell your group like something new. I'm like, all right, because he didn't really know what I was doing out here. So I told my group that night, I would normally, tell you a pirate story next. We're not doing that location because I've been kicked out of there too. Long story short. But anyway, I told him I'm into vampires, not pirates. We'll see what happens when we get over there. I'll tell you what I do know. And somebody, before we left, heard the name Anne. I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be investigating. The female pirate, Anne Bonny. So I was kind of like, okay, maybe we'll get something. Took them all around the corner, told them the little bit I did know about pirates. Somebody else heard the number 300. No idea what that means. Wrote it down. I do the research. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720. The exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial. I was actually quite pissed off. I know I usually get the head nods like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I was pissed. Master's degree in creative writing, everybody. Whenever I'm researching anything, facts and data. Pirate stories come from pirate lore. I did a crap ton of research every time you guys were hearing something from that location, and that's where I was able to build up the story over the past 4 years. 2 months ago, they started docking that area, saying tourists can't come through here anymore. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I built this thing up to be like almost a grand finale. So obviously we're going to be changing things up. So for the past 6 to 7 weeks, we've been investigating this apparition up and around the corner for the cemetery. I'm going to change out Darren's camera once we get up over there, and I'll kind of explain how that camera's going to work as I tell you what happens at that location. EMF, we've seen some weird numbers over there. Expect flatness, but as we get closer to the church cemetery, sometimes you'll see like a 9 or a 12. That's the 2 readings that we've had so far in the past 6 or 7 weeks, but it's only happened 2 times. So kind of keep that in mind. Definitely listen in. You're going to be listening too up until we get up and around the corner. And then, of course, if you want to hit that stop button, by all means do so. Oh, I also like to point this out. It's probably something else I didn't take.